What if the little you have today is all you actually need to start something big? Hi, Mayowa. It's good to have you on the podcast.
Hi, Miss Fatima.
How do you stay creative and innovative in your work?
Gaining more knowledge. That's how I stay creative and innovative. I learn more.
What are some of the lessons you've learned so far so good?
There is no perfect time to start a business. So waiting for the perfect time or resources will only delay one progress.
Is there any success story you'd love to share with us?
First time I got my knitting machine, I bought it for 60,000 naira. I cried tears of joy.
How can young people overcome the "I don't have enough" mindset?
Time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatsoever tool you have at your command. Start with what you have. Work diligently. Learn continuously. Increase knowledge. And refuse to let lack define your future.
Campus Hustlers with Fatima Zakariyya.
What if the little you have today is all you actually need to start something big? Hi, welcome to yet another interesting episode of Campus Hustlers, your weekly dose of entrepreneurial spirit unfiltered. I'm your host, Fatima Zakariyya. I am an entrepreneur, a corporate event anchor, a voiceover artist, and of course, I am a podcaster. Joining me on today's episode of Campus Hustlers is Mayowa Oyedele, a recent nursing graduate of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, LAUTECH, Ogbomoso, Oyo State, and a passionate crocheter, knitter, and creative entrepreneur. Her journey into entrepreneurship began long before she understood what the word meant. Growing up around her mother, who was a knitter, Mayowa was exposed early to various skills. Over the years, she learned how to make hair, bake, style, make wigs, knit, and crochet. But the skill that truly resonated with her, the one she connected with deeply, was knitting, the very first craft her mother practiced. Her entrepreneurial spirit, however, started much earlier in 100 level. Driven by a natural passion for business, Mayowa began by selling eggs to her classmates. With the small profit she earned, she moved into her next venture, Aradel Chin Chin, a chin chin business producing both bottled and sachet snacks for sale on campus. She started with just 1,500 naira, and by the time she paused production, had grown it into 14,000 naira. Every kobo of that profit was reinvested into yarn, crochet hooks, and materials that birthed what is now Aradel Crochet. Today, Aradel Crochet has trained over 15 students, empowered young creatives, and enabled Mayowa to acquire essential tools like knitting machine, mannequin, laptop, and other resources. What started as a small dream has evolved into a thriving brand rooted in creativity, sustainability, and youth empowerment. Mayowa's story is a reminder that you don't need to have everything to start. As a nursing student and the last child of her family, she could easily have been passive. Instead, she chose resilience, passion, and the conviction that she could build something meaningful. That is what Aradel Crochet stands for: a vision beyond profit, a platform for skill, empowerment, and growth. Hi, Mayowa. It's good to have you on the podcast.
Hi, Miss Fatima. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so grateful.
How are you today?
I'm very well. I'm doing good.
All right. It's good to hear that. Okay, Mayowa, without wasting time, let's get into it. So, can you tell us how your journey as an entrepreneur began and what inspired you to start?
Okay, so once again, I want to say thank you very much. I'm so honored to be on this platform, and I'm so grateful to be able to share my journey with everyone here. Thank you for the question. So my journey began as an entrepreneurship as far back as my secondary school days. So I always had this passion, and I've loved to buy and sell things and save money actually. So it created something in me that followed me even to my university days. So in my first year, I started selling eggs like you mentioned during the intro, and it wasn't really a huge success like that because the money I was gaining was not really that much. I think I made about just 1,500 naira from it. But it taught me an important lesson though. It taught me to start with what I have, no matter how small it is. And then I moved into making snacks, which is chin chin. As I worked and met more people, the business began to grow. But then I still felt there was something I could do with excellence, something that could really set me apart. So I asked myself one question that was important a day, and that was that what is that one thing I can do so well that even if the president of any country should order for it, I would deliver perfectly. Out of all the skills that I know how to do, the answer was so clear. It was knitting and crocheting. So my mom taught me how to knit, and I learned crocheting myself through YouTube. So I practiced consistently, and that was how the small skill grew into a thriving business. So what inspired me to pursue entrepreneurship wasn't just about making money. It was the desire to solve problems, to help people, and especially to make an impact. I wanted to show that even as a student, you can pursue passion, you can build your skills, and you can even create opportunity for yourself and others. Along the way, I started training others, even when I was not perfect yet. And I realized the more I trained, the more I grew myself. So in conclusion, my journey has been all about curiosity, resilience, and using every opportunity, even the smallest one, to create value. So you don't have to wait for everything to be perfect. Just start with what you have, be consistent, and trust that your efforts will grow into something.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. I love that, Mayowa. That's beautiful. Okay, so now, Mayowa, I'm curious. Tell us, what inspired the name Aradel Crochet?
Okay, so Aradel Crochet, I'll say it's actually from a personal place because my third name is Ara Ire, and Ara Ire means wonders.
Hmm.
Ara means wonder, and that meaning has always stayed with me. So when I was choosing my brand name, I wanted something that would reflect the kind of impact I want my work to have. So I didn't just want to crochet, I wanted to create wonders. Maybe pieces that people will wear and others will see in their body and wow.
Hmm.
So I combined Ara with my surname Oyedele and I formed Aradel. It's like a reminder for me that whenever I am creating, it should reflect uniqueness and excellence. So for me, Aradel Crochet isn't just a name, it's a vision actually. It's representing my desire to inspire creativity, to produce work that stand out, and to show young people that whatever they do, no matter how small, can be done with a touch of wonder. Yeah, so that was what inspired Aradel Crochet.
Awesome. That's beautiful. And trust me, this is so brilliant. It's super brilliant. And it sounds so English. Okay, so now tell us, Mayowa, what are some of the challenges you faced when starting your brand and how did you overcome them? I'm talking about your crochet and knitting brand. How did you overcome them? What are these challenges?
Okay, thank you for that question. So I would say that if there is anything my crochet journey, nursing journey has taught me is that growth rarely happens in comfort and we must face challenges. When we face challenges, it's not there to stop us, it's actually there to shape us. So starting Aradel Crochet, I faced a lot of challenges. Let me classify them as both internal and external challenges because the internal challenges were something that was within, struggling with fear and the spirit of pessimism. I was asking myself, will crochet really work? Will people buy it? Will it bring money? Will I fail? And there were constant questioning that almost held me back. But then I remember reading a book back then. It was like if you're scared of criticism, if you're scared of failure, then just do nothing and be nothing in life. So it made me realize that entrepreneurship itself is risk taking. You don't grow by staying comfortable, you grow by trying. Other challenges were also real. Crochet material at that time was expensive. I could remember a pack of wool was sold for around 10,000 naira. And as a student, it was a big deal. On top of that, crochet was time consuming. And I was just a student, a nursing student with a demanding course with lectures, clinicals, exams, church activities. It felt like everything was pulling at my time. But how did I overcome? Did I overcome them? Yes, I did overcome them. So firstly, I worked on my mindset. I shifted from being pessimistic to being optimistic. I told myself that if I try, I might fail or I might succeed. But if I don't try at all, I already failed. And that mindset helped me to push forward. Another thing is that I was extremely intentional about my time. I know I was good at studying in the afternoon, so I would study in the afternoon and then I would crochet at my night time. Created timetable, I wrote daily goals, I planned my day the night before the next day. When I'm in class, I will always take my materials, my crochet, my hook. When the lecturer wasn't coming, I would bring them out and I would crochet right in class. I maximized every pocket of time that I had. Even when I started training students, it became even more demanding. But again, Planning saved me. Every night before sleeping, I'll write out what I need to achieve the next day. That discipline helped me to stay balanced. Above all the old challenges, I survived. And I didn't just survive, I grew. I became a better student, a better creative, a better Christian, a better version of myself. And that's one thing I want people to understand, that challenges is not a sign that you are not enough. They are proof that you are growing into the version of yourself that you prayed for. And that was how I was able to overcome those challenges. I hope I answered the question well.
Of course, you did. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Mayowa. Okay, so now, Mayowa, I'm curious. We are in a world where no one would have thought that crochet knitting would become something as big as this. You see people crocheting almost everything. Like, you see people wearing crochet from head to toe, and they will look good, they will look stylish and all. How do you stay creative and innovative in your work?
Okay, yeah, I would just say for me, it's gaining more knowledge. That's how I stay creative and innovative. I learn more. It's something I intentionally build. Okay, I used to say something that creativity grows when you feed it. So I was exposing myself to fashion, not just about crochet, but I exposed myself to even fashion designers, art, new ideas. I followed major fashion brands and designers on Instagram and on TikTok, from Prudential Fashion Academy to Vicky James. All of these are not crocheters, they are normal fashion designers. But when I see their outfits, it resonates with my vision. I follow international crochet creators also. So studying their works, those fashion designers, helped me to understand trends, color combination, and the ways to innovate. Sometimes I even get my inspiration from designs that are not perfect yet, because I start imagining what they could become. My inspiration comes from even the most simplest thing. It could be nature, it could be the shape of a leaf. I could remember once I created a crochet bag inspired by the shape I saw on a tire while walking. That is a car tire. Sometimes it's something someone wears to my class, a fascinator, a bag, a shoe. I immediately start imagining the crochet version. And sometimes when I feel stuck in a project, I will not even force creativity. I will just go back to learning. I would download PDF textbooks on crochets, international ones. I watch tons of YouTube tutorials. In fact, I can say I graduated from YouTube University. I will study top designers from different countries and take online courses on business, strategy, and design. One personal rule that helped me stay was discipline. I was disciplined. I would finish one crochet work before I jump into another. Above all, I would just say that staying innovative requires being sensitive to your environment. So for me, it's a mix of constant learning, observing my environment, being disciplined, and staying open to inspiration from everyday life. So that's what kept my work unique and fresh.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that, Mayowa. I want to ask you now, as a self-taught crocheter that you are, can you tell us, you've trained over 15 students and you are self-trained. So how important is mentorship and youth empowerment to you?
Mentorship is extremely important. I have my own mentor. I have my mentor in crochet space. I have those that I look up to. Some of them I just watch their work from afar and I learn from them. So I would say it is extremely important, because they represent more than just teaching skills. They represent like giving people a chance to see possibility for themselves. When I was growing up, I feel like to have dreams, like, what it feel like to have dreams but not the confidence, the environment, the guidance, people to pull you through to develop them fully. So when I started Aradel Crochet, one of my silent goal was to create a space where young people would learn, grow, and discover their own ability. So yes, training over 15 students and still training has shown on me that skill is not the only thing that will pass on. While I was training them, we were passing on mindset, courage, identity. So many of the students I trained did not come because they just want to learn how to make bags or crochet clothes or crochet earring. They came because they were actually searching for direction. So watching them grow from people that don't even know how to hold a crochet hook, like myself then, so people who would confidently create and design and sell, showed me how powerful empowerment can be. So mentorship, I would say again, is extremely important. When someone learns a skill, they suddenly see themselves differently. Their confidence increases, their problem-solving ability improves, and they begin to think like creators. So that transformation is something that I value deeply. I will say again, youth empowerment is part of my calling. And whenever I am teaching crochet, advising someone, or helping a junior student, or guiding someone in their personal development journey, journey, I always want to be that kind of person that gives other light. Because when you empower one young person, you're indirectly empowering a family, a community,
Hmm.
and sometimes even a generation. So I just want to say that empowerment should be everyone's passion. And I personally, I intend to keep creating more opportunities for young people to learn, grow, and become the best version of themselves.
Awesome. This is beautiful. And I wish you all the very best in this your journey. I wish you all the very best.
Thank
Well
you so
done,
much.
Mayowa.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so now, Mayowa, tell us, what are some of the lessons you've learned so far so good?
Okay, some of the lessons I've learned through my journey with Aradel Crochet and business and personal growth. I've learned many valuable lessons. So number one is that start before you're ready. There is no perfect time to start a business. So waiting for the perfect time or resources will only delay one progress. So just start now. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Number two, I would say that maybe consistency in whatsoever we do. Regular effort, even if it is small, they compound into significant results over time. The third thing, I said I struggled internally, and that was with my mindset. So mindset is everything. Be open-minded, have a growth mindset. Determine how you want to respond to challenges and setbacks. Accept failures. Like I used to say, failures should be something that is not a defect. It should teach you how to improve and pivot. So fail forward. The fourth thing I'll say is that be disciplined. Discipline creates freedom. So structuring your time, sticking to routines that you've created for yourself, will allow a person to balance business, studies, personal life, relationship effectively. And my favorite one, empower others. Because the more you teach others, the more you learn. Sharing knowledge will multiply your impacts, even open doors where you don't even imagine. It has happened for me. Most of the students that I've trained during my induction, I cannot say the joy that overwhelmed me. They were so happy, they were gifting me, and I was just like, I didn't have created this impact. Another thing I've learned is value visibility. So show your work consistently. I would always wear my crochet attire wherever I go. It's either you're seeing me with a scrunchies, or you're seeing me with a hairband, or you're seeing me with a crochet clothes, or you're seeing me with a crochet bag. And lastly, I will say is that let there be resourcefulness over abundance. Limited resources shouldn't stop you. I started crochet with just 14,000 naira, and I could have started with something less than that. So limited resources should not stop you. So those are the lessons that I've learned over time.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. The lessons you've learned have eventually turned to different set of advice. So we are going to pick as much as we can. Thank you so much for that, Mayowa. Okay, so now, Mayowa, tell us any success story so far so good. Is there any success story you'd love to share with us?
My success story has all been embedded in most of the question you asked. Growing up, following my mom to shop, she's just a knitter, but I added crochet because I wanted something that would stand out. And then we didn't want to follow her to shop. We were always reluctant. But we didn't know that gradually she was actually planting a seed that would later grow into a vision, a business, and even a ministry. At first, no customers, no visibility, no engagement, no encouragement. In fact, my school environment felt like the worst place to start a crochet. Who will wear it? It's not modern, it's not exposed. I will wear crochet every day, like I said earlier. And later, people started noticing. Others started coming in. First, it was from my school, then from Osun, then Lagos, Niger State, and even currently from the US. The first time I got my knitting machine, I bought it for 60,000 naira. I cried tears of joy. It felt like a miracle because I bought it with the works of my own hands. Nobody gave me a penny. Then the training started when I volunteered in church. Whenever they want to have like a workshop, I volunteered. I would teach people crochet for free. And people started coming back because they wanted to learn more. And that was how the empowerment journey started little by little. I became a mentor, not because I planned to, but because I say purpose make room for you even before you know what is happening. So through this business, within just 1 year, I started February 2024. I was able to buy my knitting machine. I was able to get myself a personal laptop. My greatest achievement, I was able to train students, 15 plus, and still training. I was able to pay part of my school fees. I did all of this while being the last born. I was the last born that have every reason to relax, who could have just chosen comfort, have other ones. Being a nursing student with a very demanding schedule. I was in a relationship and I was serving in church. So I'll just say that everything that I am today is because God gave me the grace and strength and courage to believe that my hands could create something meaningful.
Awesome, awesome. Congratulations, Mayo. I'm so happy for you. I can't imagine what you'll become in the next 2 years. If you can do all of this, if you can achieve all of this in a year, I'm sure you own your knitting factory, if there's anything like that. By God's grace, you become a global
Thank you so
crocheter
much.
and a global knitter. By God's grace.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
All right, Mayowa. And that brings me to this question. Tell us, where do you wish to see yourself in the next few years?
I see Aradel Crochet growing far beyond just a business. Well, I actually envision having a physical store where people can walk in Abuja and, experience our products firsthand and be inspired by the creativity and quality we offer. So I see us combining sales, training, and empowerment initiative. I also see Aradel Crochet as a platform for transformation. There's something that I have in mind actually, and that is about youth empowerment. So I want to create like a dedicated training programs for young people, equipping them with skills, knowledge, and confidence to create their own opportunities. Ultimately, I see Aradel Crochet as more than a business. Actually, it is a ministry, a platform for employment, and a space for bringing out the best in people's life. Beyond making sales, we are dedicated for empowerment initiatives. So beyond providing unique products, I want that the brand will contribute to society by adding value, inspiring creativity, and also helping to make Nigeria a better place.
I wish you all the very best, Mayowa. Success is yours by God's grace.
Thank you so much. Amen.
All right, quickly before we dive into the second segment of the podcast, where can listeners find you in case they would love to connect with you? Where can they find you?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, Aradel Crochet. I'm also on TikTok, Aradel Crochet. I'm on Facebook, Oyedele Mayowa, although we're creating a page officially, Aradel Crochet. So I'm on those three platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So you can connect with us. You can send in your orders. You can also partner with us.
All right, I'll definitely drop all those handles in the description box. All right, so listeners, we're about to dive into the second segment of the podcast. It's time for the how segment, where we move from inspiration to action and show you how to make your next move happen.
Campus Hustlers with Fatima Zakariyya.
All right, so Mayowa, if you're ready, our listeners are also ready. Tell us, how can young people overcome the I don't have enough mindset? How can they overcome that?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. In fact, I so much resonate with this question because Aradel Crochet was not just built suddenly. It was like a step-by-step process. Like I said, I started selling eggs and then I moved into Chin Chin. I started with just 1,500 naira. So there, I don't have mindset. I don't have enough mindset. It's one of the biggest barriers to young people actually achieving their dreams. It is easy for us to look that we lack money, resources, connection, and then we just feel discouraged. But the truth is, we don't have to have everything to start. You don't need to have everything to start. There's this book I read, Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich. He said, do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatsoever that you have at your command. So I want us to understand the importance of starting with what you have. What you have is actually enough. What you have is actually enough. When I started Aradel Crochet, I didn't have a knitting machine. I didn't have a formal training. All I had was passion. All I had was a skill. All I had was the willingness. I started small with what I had and I grew it step by step. I had knew that I wanted to do Aradel Crochet, but I didn't have the resources. So I started with eggs. I was able to make 1,005. Then I dived into Chin Chin. I was able to make 14,000 naira from that. And then I transited into Aradel Crochet fully. I'm able to make more than 300,000. Do what you can with what you have, where you are. So as you take action, people will start supporting you, start seeing opportunity, resources, all of those things will follow. And finally, overcoming the I don't have mindset. It requires faith in your potential. You must believe in yourself before other believes in you. So believe in what you have right now, that it is enough to take the first step. So my advice to you is simple. Start with what you have, work diligently, learn continuously, increase knowledge, and refuse to let lack define your future. Thank you.
Awesome, Mayowa. Awesome. Thank you so much for this. All right, so Mayowa, you can't go now. I still have one more question for you. If it's okay to think about it, but it's something you can actually answer. So, just in case you want to think about it, I'll give you time to think about it. Okay, so now, Mayowa, let me ask you, if you had to crochet one thing for the rest of your life, if you had to crochet one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
So if I'm to crochet one thing for the rest of my life, one thing I would crochet would be baby wears. Yeah, I'm into nursing and what I would like to specialize is maternal and child health. So I love to actually create baby wears because it kind of resonates with my profession. So if I'm to create something, if I'm to make a piece for the rest of my life, I would go with baby wears.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. I love that. All right, like I said, Mayowa, it has really been an amazing time with you. Thank you so, so much for coming on my podcast. It has really been an amazing time with you. Trust me, I learned a whole lot from you, and I'm so sure our listeners too.
I enjoyed myself here and I would like to come here anytime, any day. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Miss Fatima.
You're welcome. All right, hustlers, that's all we have for you today. I hope this episode ignites your entrepreneurial fire. Rate and review this podcast using the hashtag Campus Hustlers on all social media platforms. If you're yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button now. Until next week, stay hungry, stay focused, and keep hustling. Bye bye.
Campus Hustlers with Fatima Zakariyya.